I wonder if we could normalize Diablo-like for ARPGs.
Okay, Turd Ferguson. Not the right answer.
Okay, right off the bat, we've got new skills for the monk and even some new animations that I noticed. So first off, one of the new skills is Vaulting Impact. It's AoE, melee, and a slam skill. That's cool because so far, the only other slam skill on a monk was Falling Thunder. So if we can have another ability with a slam, that just means there's more opportunities now for different kind of supports. So it being a slam skill means you could support it with different things, right? So like Jagged Ground. Support slam skills, causing them to create patches of jagged ground, which has this slowing effect and damages enemies. The other thing is that there are other skills in the game that can be triggered by slams. So this is really cool that the monk now has at least one more skill to branch out and allow other synergies to be possible. So the other thing about Vaulting Impact is that it says consume daze on enemies to cause 300% more stun buildup. I honestly have no idea what daze is in Path of Exile, so maybe someone could help me out with that in the comments. So you're less likely to get cornered as the monk now with an attack like this, because you could just leap and flip over a pack of monsters. Before this was revealed, I was actually thinking of putting electrocuting arrow on a bow on swap, just so that you could flip forward over a monster so that you could not get cornered. But since this is there, now I feel like you could just use this and there won't be the delay penalty for swapping. You can also see Vaulting Impact being used as kind of like just a mobility skill here. Octavian is demonstrating something here where he's just kind of vaulting to move a little faster, which is kind of cool. The other thing I want to point out too is that it seems like if you really want to play click to move, you absolutely can. If you notice in the corner over here, these little footsteps on the icon, that signifies click to move. So if you've been wondering why my voice sounds deeper right now, it's because I've been really sick. I was actually sick for the entire podcast with Talkative Tri. I just didn't want to say anything because I didn't want him to like cancel on me or something, or just say like, oh, we'll cut it short because you don't feel good. I had like a fever, body aches. I could barely muster the strength in my voice. That entire interview conversation, I literally just like mind over matter, just was like, bring the hype, you know, just try to ignore the fact that your throat is killing you right now. After the interview ended with Talkative Tri, which went awesome, by the way, after it ended, I lost my voice completely. Like I was like this, couldn't speak at all right after. It was like everything I had left was just gone. And that's also why I haven't made any videos recently, is because I literally couldn't speak. Basically, I picked up something from my job. I work at a hospital, so a lot of sick people. But yeah, go check that interview out. Tri said that he thought it was a great conversation. He thought I brought a nice perspective to Path of Exile 2, having not played Path of Exile 1. The other new skill I noticed is Storm Wave. This one is demonstrated in the reveal. You can see it's a lightning-based attack. They don't hover over it, so we can't see exactly what the stats are or the requirements. It's like a mid-range attack, kind of like Wind Blast. The other new skills are Mantra of Destruction, which we don't know anything about. They don't hover over it. And then Hand of Chayula. Hand of Chayula has been revealed before. Apply curses and marks with increased effect. Now it currently says that it's a meta gem, but I don't see a spirit requirement. And it probably doesn't have spirit requirement though, because the Acolyte of Chayula Ascendancy converts your spirit into darkness. So I don't think you would be able to reserve anything with that ascendancy. So it would make sense that, you know, this skill doesn't need spirit. What if you threw temporal chains in there? Because it curses enemies, lowering their action speed and making other effects on them expire more slowly. So no matter what kind of monk you're running, if you're freezing them, if you're shocking them, if you're stunning them, it would seem like something like Temporal Chains would be really powerful in Hand of Chayula. You could support that even further with Hex Bloom so that the curse can spread. Since Hand of Chayula says that it does curses and marks, you could even put something like Sniper's Mark on there so that you can get extra damage on your critical hits. So say with that set up with Hand of Chayula, right? With Sniper's Mark and Temporal Chains. You're on a boss. You've generated some power charges. You've shocked them with something like Tempest Flurry. Then hit them with Hand of Chayula. You increase the damage that will be done to them with Sniper's Mark. You've made the shock effect last longer and slowed them. And then you have something like Falling Thunder ready to go with max power charges, supported by Inevitable Critical and Critical Damage. And those would pair nicely. So Inevitable Critical with Critical Damage would pair pretty nice with Sniper's Mark, wouldn't it? And then something like Lightning Penetration as well, to get even more damage out of your Falling Thunder. Now, the other thing I noticed is something really interesting about Tempest Flurry. Tempest Flurry, they've adjusted it and actually changed the animation for when your attack speed is increased. There are 3 strikes, a twirl of the staff, followed by a flip, and then with a lightning bolt. You'll notice here in this footage, this monk is pretty fast. He's got good run walk and good attack speed. And you'll notice when he does Tempest Flurry, he doesn't do the front flip. He actually just spins and gets off that 3rd strike much quicker. I'm wondering if it just looked kind of goofy, having him flip so fast to keep up with the attack speed. But anyway, I thought that was a nice touch that the move and animation has actually been altered to adjust for the increased attack speed. Another thing I've noticed about the skill tree here on Monk is that Glacial Cascade has been moved. It used to be up further up on the skill tree here, but now it's a level 1. And if you're wondering about Glacial Cascade, this is the one that does extra damage to an enemy that's already frozen. And so this actually makes the monk early game a lot stronger. So in the beginning of the game, Frozen Locust is going to be like your crowd control ability. That'll slow things and freeze things. And then this can allow you to capitalize on that by hitting the locust. Once you've flipped back, you'll be able to shoot this forward into the locust. Or once the locust has been burst and it freezes someone, you'll be able to hit again with this and then shatter frozen enemies as well. I think it's a really nice change that they put Glacial Cascade way up here in the first tier of skills. It will just allow you to have better crowd control and damage in the early game. So as opposed to the early game, in the end game, we see footage of Octavian playing a very high level monk. I think they loaded him in at level 95. Who knows if that's just like developer curated. It's a high level monk, and they use Cast on Freeze with Ice Wall, and they do a great job of showing how Glacial Cascade can really scale well, even with spells with Cast on Freeze. So check this out.
In this case, we're going to cast Frost Wall. And we're going to add Fortress and reduce cooldown to that so that we can cast them all the time. And they're going to go in a circle around the monster that got frozen. So effectively, because it's going to create a lot more frozen objects around the monster, when you use your Glacial Cascade, they're going to do a lot more damage and explode for a huge amount of damage as well. So the goal here is effectively small fissures in reality that let you see into an alternate plane where demons roam free. And touching a breach will cause it to expand and reveal all the demons there that are lurking on that plane. So we're going to have to walk, unfortunately, directly there, which is going to trigger immediately, so you won't get to see what it looks like before you trigger it. But Octavian can do that now.
The reason this is really great is because in some of my previous videos, there were people saying, like, you're not going to be able to build into spell damage that well with cast on effects on like a melee character. And it seems like you absolutely will be able to. Maybe that's a byproduct of the monk just being a dex intelligence based character, so it scales better or something. But it could be just that maybe there's certain passives and notables and stuff that really allow this diversification a bit better. So I was very happy to see that spell damage from cast on effects seems to be really effective. So the other thing I want to point out is that it seems like you'll be able to build charge staff pretty decently. There's some footage here that shows a duration that's almost like a minute long for it, and there's like a number 7 that you see. So I think that could be indicating that 7 power charges were used. I don't know if that means all at once, or they got 3 or 4, used it, got another 3, used it. But it seems like the duration can be increased from power charges. And if it's not that, then it's just like passives that are just, and supports that are increasing the duration. But it's good to see that you'll be able to get charge staff going, and that you'll be able to take out an entire mob without it running out. All right, so yeah, charge staff uses power charges to imbue your staff. You get some short range projectiles with it that are lightning based. Something like empowered damage might be kind of good on it, because it says it supports skills that can empower skills other than themselves. So with charge staff on, it adds the lightning projectiles and AoE to all your other quarterstaff attacks. So I think this 20% damage buff could be good on charge staff. The other one that's I find really interesting is Minion Pact. Supported skills remove 20% of your maximum life from a nearby minion to deal 20% more damage. So I wonder if that works with this or not, but it kind of sounds like it could. So you could get a 40% damage, 40% more damage from just these 2 skills here onto charge staff, which then is applied to all of your other quarterstaff skills. There's also something like more duration. That could be nice, 30% more skill effect duration. We also see something like Pulverize, which is supported skills have 20% increased area of effect, 15% less attack speed, and 20% more melee area damage. So this one also not exactly sure if the detriment of the attack speed on this one would affect you at all or not if you put it on charge staff. Now it says melee attack on this support here for Pulverize, but if you look at charge staff, it says duration buff attack AoE melee. So I'm wondering if those keywords do match up without having any detriment from the less attack speed that's on Pulverize. Might be a good choice if it works out how I think. Ice Strike and Extended Combo support. So Extended Combo gives you 1 more final strike. Ice Strike has 3 attacks to it. It's a combo move. So you do 2 quick attacks followed by a third, a little bit slower attack, but it does more damage. So more ice damage, more cold potential. You put Extended Combo and he'll do that last attack again. And we can see in the footage the monk doing it 3 times in a row. So either you can get more supports that extend combos, or you can get gear that extends combos, or you can get notables that extend combos, or ascendancy power that extends combos. Finally, I want to leave you with Jonathan talking about how you don't have to specialize in one skill or one element, that it's a variety of skills is what they're going for. And then please like and subscribe. Check out my podcast with Talkative Tri. And I do have, my music and stuff, and my album for prog rock ARPG music. It's on my channel. You can check it out. The music behind this video, for example, is me playing the guitar, creating this atmospheric style music. All right, thanks, guys.
There are 3 schools of martial arts: lightning, ice, and wind. But don't think you have to stick to just one. The best combos are going to involve mixing elements of all 3. Let's try Killing Palm. Like many months